Howdy, welcome to Moltar Aviation. Do you want to learn to become a pilot? Well, to become a pilot, you have to study. And to study, you need certain books. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly which books you need. In fact, later in this video, I'll tell you exactly how you can get those books for free. All right, well, hey, I'm Dr. Andy Moltar. I'm a flight instructor, a CFI II MEI. I used to be a corporate pilot, and now I'm a professor of aviation. So to become a pilot, you really need to study your books very hard. I met a lot of pilots or a lot of student pilots that they make it all the way up to their check ride and they say, "Yeah, I'm ready to take my check ride. I'm just a little behind in my knowledge." Well, learn to become a pilot. It's 10% flying, 90% studying is what I like to tell people. And so to study, you need the right books. There are so many books out there on learning to fly that I'm sure you can get lost. And so I'm just gonna show you all the books that you need. And so if you go to my website, and I'll leave a link down for my website in the description below. But if you go to my website, multiraviation.com, you'll see a few links at the top. I've got some low time pilot jobs if once you get to that point that you're ready to get hired by somebody. I've got all my videos that I post up on YouTube for the different playlists that we have. But then in the pilot gear section, at the top here on the top left, I have a link for the books, which is right below. And so you can find all the books that you'll need throughout your flying career. So the first one I want to tell you about is first off, my book, How to Become a Pilot. So I wrote this book for people that just have no idea how to get into aviation. So if that's you, then this book will really help you out. Now I plan on making videos for everything that's in this book, but it's going to take me a while to make these videos. So if you just want to know right now, you can get this book, and I recommend you get it as an ebook. I have a lot of links in this book to help direct you to the right resources. So, but if you like me, or if you're like me and you like having a paperback copy, then this would be a good option for you. All right, so there's my book, but then next I want to tell you about is the FAR AIM. So the FAR AIM, as you can see, it's pretty thick here. This is what we call the Pilot Bible, and so the FAR AIM, it's divided into two sections: the Federal Aviation Regulations and the Aeronautical Information Manual. So the FAR AIM, it's a difficult book to read, but the thing is, you've just got to put your head down into the book and read it. Now, the strategy I like to use is I like to first just open the book. So as you start at section 61, part 61, and then after you're done with part 61, go to part 91. When you read it, you just have to open the book and then start reading. Now, if you can read for like 20, 30 minutes, that's great. It doesn't matter if you read one page or read 20 pages. As long as you spend that time reading, you're making progress. And then when you're done, you just put your bookmark in the book, and then you pick up another book, and then you start reading that. And so for each of these books, when you click on the link here, I have an affiliate link for all the books that I'm telling you about, and so I make a little commission on it. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me. It helps support the channel. But so you can buy it from Amazon. It's a little pricey on Amazon, $27.48. But you can also find all the regulations and the AIM sections for free. And so to find all the regulations, I just go to Google, type in ECFR. So E for electronic, and then CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. So the Federal Aviation Regulations are actually part of the Code of Federal Regulations. And then whichever part you're looking at, Part 61, Part 91, Part 121, whatever. And you just go to that section, and then you'll have all the different regulations that apply to you as a pilot. And then separately, you can look for the Aeronautical Information Manual by just going to Google, typing that in, and then you go to the FAA's website for the Aeronautical Information Manual, and then you just read through the different sections. Now, you could read these for free, but I highly recommend you actually get the book. If you're not around your computer, you don't want to pull it up on your phone, you're not going to think about it. But with the actual book, you're more likely to read it. All right, so the next book I want to tell you about is the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. So the we call that the PHAK. And so the PHAK, it is a book that describes pretty much everything you need to know for private and then also commercial. So this is just one of those books that you need to read. You get on Amazon for $25.65. And then the next book I want to tell you about is right above my head here, the Aviation Weather Handbook. So aviation weather is a really boring topic, but it's something that you need to know really well. Now, I think the Aviation Weather Handbook is an excellent source for learning aviation weather. Um, it it writes it so simply that you can just quickly understand all the different facets of aviation weather and come to understand it very well, very quickly. So this is just another one of those books I really recommend for your library. And so you can get your aviation weather handbook on Amazon. It's $30. So I know some of these prices might seem a little high, but really compared to a lot of other books out there, like textbooks for college, these are considerably cheap. All right, then the next book I think you should get is the Airplane Flying Handbook. So the Airplane Flying Handbook, it goes through all the different maneuvers that you need to know for private, for commercial, and so you can get on Amazon for 23.20. Now this book, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a tough read um, because you don't know anything about flying yet. But once you start flying and doing the maneuvers, when you go back and you read about the different maneuvers in the Airplane Flying Handbook, it's going to start to make more and more sense as you go along. So this is definitely a resource you want to have. All right, then the last book I'm going to recommend is this blue one here, the Private Pilot Airman Certification Standards. So the Private Pilot Airman Certification Standards, the ACS, this is going to be the guide that tells you exactly what you need to know and do for your private pilot check ride. So when you go to do your check ride, there's nothing that you will be tested on that's not in this ACS. And so this book is relatively cheap. It's about $9.95 on Amazon. And so, like I said, you can get all these books if you like the physical like paperback. Then please consider using these links to get your books. But if you want to get them for free, well, I'll show you how to do that as well. So the FAA, the great thing about the FAA is they make all these handbooks available for download for free from their website. So I just typed in Google FAA handbooks, and so handbooks and manuals. And so you'll want to click on this second link here, Aviation Handbooks and Manuals, and you'll have to decipher through them. But here you got the Aeronautical Information Manual, the Airplane Flying Handbook. You go down, you'll see the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge somewhere right down here. Um, but yeah, so you just find the ones that you need. Now the Airman certification standards, they're going to be on a different website, so I'll go find those for you real quick. All right, so I just typed in FAA Airman certification standards on Google. Click on that link, and then you'll have all the different ACSs for the different pilot certificates. And so there's a private pilot for rotorcraft. That's not what we want. So, well, it'll be on here somewhere. There we go. Private pilot airplane category. And so then you just download it, and you can do a Microsoft print PDF for any of these, so you can break it down by chapter. This one you wouldn't want to do that though, but all right. So those are the books that I recommend. And then also on this website, if you keep going down, you'll see I have all different recommendations that I have, such as like headsets, iPads, knee boards, flight computers, bags, and so on, and all the other accessories that you'll need. I'll make some videos about these in the future, but yeah, I just wanted to share with you. These are the books that I think that will help you the best. There's other private pilot textbooks out there from like Jepson, Rod Mahato, Sporties, whoever, and those are fine, but they're going to be a lot more expensive. And I just think that these FAA books are the official sources. So, I just think that's probably where you want to go. But I mean, there's lots of other resources out there. So if you find another book that you like, then I'm glad for you. But thanks for watching. You take care. Bye.